All right, let's dive right into this explainer and learn exactly how to restore your saltwater pool system safely and efficiently, entirely on your own without having to call in a professional. Look, if you own a saltwater pool, you already know the incredible benefits, right? That silky smooth water, the hands-off chlorination, it's fantastic. But that magic actually happens inside a specific piece of hardware that definitely requires a bit of maintenance to keep functioning at its peak. So today, we're taking a deep dive into the exact chemistry and the hands-on techniques that you need to keep your system running beautifully. So picture this. You stroll out to enjoy a nice weekend swim, the sun is shining, and then bam, there it is. That dreaded blinking warning light on your chlorinator control board just demanding your attention. It's super frustrating, I know, but it's actually your system doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's communicating that there is a physical blockage stopping the flow of sanitizing chlorine into your pool. But what exactly is that blockage? Well, usually this warning is triggered by a really stubborn buildup of calcium scale that's just choking your system. Inside your salt cell, there are these tightly packed titanium plates or blades where the actual electrolysis happens. When your water chemistry falls out of balance, minerals drop out of the solution and form these hard, crusty white deposits directly on those plates. As the scale builds up, it literally bridges the gap between the blades, completely stopping the electrical current from converting your salt into chlorine. So here is our game plan for conquering this chore. 1. The salt cell problem. 2. Muriatic acid and safety. 3. Step-by-step cleaning. 4. Troubleshooting warning lights. And 5. Preventing future scaling. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the salt cell problem. So, when your system's efficiency drops, this indicator lights up to tell you that mineral scaling is physically bridging the gap between your cell's blades. And listen, if you ignore this light, you are basically on a countdown to a green pool. Your chlorine production is going to drop to absolute zero, organic matter will take over, and your crystal clear water will turn into a swamp. Trust your system. When it says check cell, it means it is time to get to work. Moving right along to Section 2, muriatic acid and safety. To remove that rock-hard calcium, we need an industrial chemical that requires supreme respect. And as you can see, muriatic acid is our absolute top choice for the job. Now, yes, the handling difficulty is high because of the intense fumes, but it is highly effective and really low cost compared to the alternatives. Muriatic acid is essentially a diluted form of hydrochloric acid, usually sitting around a 31 to 34% concentration. While dry acid, which is a powder, is sometimes used for indoor pools because it's a bit easier to handle with fewer fumes, and liquid sulfuric acid is just way too toxic and expensive for common use, muriatic acid remains the undisputed champion for outdoor residential pools. It just rapidly dissolves that calcium scale like nothing else. Now, if you take away just one single thing from this explainer, please let it be this absolute golden rule of pool chemistry. Always add acid to water, never water to acid. This is absolutely crucial to prevent highly dangerous splashing. If you pour water into a bucket of acid, it can trigger an instant, violent exothermic reaction. It literally boils the water on contact, splashing concentrated acid right back at you. Always fill your bucket or cleaning stand with water first, and then very slowly pour your acid in. Furthermore, you must always wear chemical-resistant rubber gloves and proper eye protection, and make sure you are working in a well-ventilated outdoor area to completely avoid inhaling those corrosive fumes. Oh, and never, ever mix muriatic acid with chlorine or other pool chemicals, because that creates a highly dangerous toxic gas. Take your time, prep your workspace, and put safety above all else. Okay, time to get hands-on. Section 3, Step-by-Step Cleaning Guide. Before we even think about mixing chemicals, you need to identify your specific cell setup, because inline cells require a special capping stand, while exposed electrode cells just need a simple plastic bucket. Inline cells look like a solid PVC tube, and you'll actually need to screw them onto a special base to hold the liquid inside. Electrode styles, on the other hand, pull right out of a housing, exposing the blades entirely, which means you can literally just stand them right up in a standard bucket. All right, follow these exact steps carefully now. While a 4:1 water to acid ratio is standard, you should always verify your specific manual first, just to be sure. Step 1, absolutely make sure all power to the equipment is totally off. Disconnect the cell from the plumbing and the control module. Next, prepare your mixture, remembering water first. Lower the cell into the solution or fill your inline cell on its stand and let it soak. Now, here is a critical warning during this process. Never use a metal tool to scrape those blades, and keep the top electrical connections completely dry. Seriously, doing either of those will instantly void your warranty. The delicate coating on those titanium plates can be scratched so easily, which permanently ruins the cell. If your cell came with a little wooden or plastic cleaning stick, use that to gently dislodge any loose debris, but never, ever metal. And hey, if the electrical connection on top does accidentally get wet, you must rinse it with fresh water, then rinse it again with rubbing alcohol, and let it dry completely before you even think about plugging it back in. While it soaks, you are going to see a bubbling or fizzing reaction. It's honestly a bit like a middle school volcano experiment. This fizzing means the acid is actively eating away at the calcium scale. The chemistry is doing all the heavy lifting for you here. You want to leave it in this bath for about 15 to 20 minutes. If the fizzing stops entirely, it either means all the scale is completely gone, or the acid has been totally neutralized by a massive amount of buildup, meaning you're going to need to mix a fresh batch. Once that fizzing stops and you've rinsed it out with lots of fresh water, you're left with a sparkling, clean cell that is ready to generate chlorine again. Take a bright light and inspect it closely. If you still see a white crust bridging those plates, you'll need to repeat the process with a fresh batch of acid solution. But once it's pristine, reinstall it, making absolutely sure all your O-rings are clean and seated properly so you don't get any leaks. But what if things don't go perfectly? Section 4. Troubleshooting warning lights. If you encounter any of these common issues, you might need to clean the cell a second time with a fresh mix, or you might be facing a deeper chemical imbalance. For instance, if the check cell light stays on after a thorough cleaning and you verified your salt levels are correct, the cell itself might just be reaching the end of its lifespan. If you mix your acid, dunk the cell, and get absolutely zero fizzing, well, that means there's no calcium scale present in the first place. So if the light is still on, you need to check for blockages around the flow switch or test your salinity. Which brings us to the most important part of all, Section 5, Preventing Future Scaling. Here's the real secret. Frequent manual cleaning is actually just a symptom of a much larger problem. Acid washing removes the scale, sure, but it doesn't fix why it formed in the first place. An unbalanced Langelier saturation index, or LSI, can cause severe scaling in just 24 hours. But properly balanced water allows your cell's built-in self-cleaning feature to work for months. You see, most modern salt chlorinators use a process called reverse polarity. They automatically switch the electrical current back and forth, which naturally repels mineral deposits and slows down scale formation. But honestly, that self-cleaning feature is totally useless if your water chemistry is wildly out of whack. So the crucial point is buffering your pH to prevent that rapid scale formation. You do that by keeping your pool's total alkalinity strictly within an ideal range. Believe it or not, muriatic acid isn't just for cleaning the cell. You actually add it directly to the pool water to lower your pH and alkalinity when they spike too high. High pH and high alkalinity are exactly what forces that calcium out of the water and straight onto your hot salt cell plates. Keep your alkalinity right between 80 and 120 parts per million and your pH locked between 7.2 and 7.6. And while you're at it, don't forget to regularly test your overall salinity alongside your alkalinity. It keeps the entire chlorine generation system operating efficiently. If your salt levels drop too low, your system has to work incredibly hard, or it'll just shut itself off to protect the hardware, flashing warning lights that might totally trick you into thinking you have a dirty cell. So check those water chemistry levels today, because at the end of the day, preventing scale through perfect balance is always cheaper, safer, and easier than dissolving it with harsh acid. Every single time you do a harsh acid wash, you are literally stripping life away from a very expensive piece of equipment. By mastering your Langelier saturation index, keeping that alkalinity right in the sweet spot, and letting your system's reverse polarity do its thing, you can enjoy months of crystal clear, low-maintenance swimming. So I'll leave you with this. Is your pool's chemistry truly balanced? Or are you just endlessly treating the symptoms?